I already saw like a few questions. Maybe we can address them and then move forward. Uh, yeah, obviously the first one, when I can rate llama, my legs are hurting. Yeah, the legs will be hurting even more on the beta. And we like, I hate to say, but beta is coming soon. We just like literally we need to hold a bit longer before we can disclose any detail, but like it's really soon. And when new players, that's actually a good question, and I would like to address this today as one of actually the main topics. I saw like really interesting discussion sparking on the general chat a while ago, where I saw like some ideas what we could do with Z inflation, extra Z utility, and relationship between V token and Z's. So there is like a lot of stuff actually I want to discuss and kind of walk you through, because I feel that's where we are definitely going, and I would really like to have you guys on board on this. And I think the more we will talk about these things in depth, the more discussions and more suggestions will come in, and kind of that's the purpose of building out in the public, where we do some stuff, um, we get some feedback, and that feedback allows us to shape the form of the game and the project in general. So yeah, um, that's pretty like lengthy topic. Okay, I see some more questions rolling in. Uh, Chips can be sent. Okay, interesting mechanic. Uh, I guess we can always. So the beauty of building games like Zverse is that when the foundation is relatively simple, it enables us to add almost any kind of feature in the future. And and I think that's beautiful, because that kind of signals that we did a lot of things right in early days. And yeah, so having that in the place just means we could theoretically have almost endless like roadmap when it comes to like adding different kinds of features and stuff. And like when we are always like looking on the features, obviously we have our own like priority list and roadmap, which is aligned with our market goals. But we always like look on these features very like from the angle complexity versus value. And and when it comes to value, we usually see, okay, we have like bunch of different things like resources, assets, and some of them may lack utility. So if we are introducing a new feature, we should add some more value to the stuff what we already have. And in this case, I mean, if we are looking at shipyards and port buildings and possible like ships, that's kind of like getting more utility for the land. Yeah, but on the other hand, it's the question is at what at what cost it comes, and this cost usually is like associated with complexity. So yeah, I mean, that's just the way we look at these things, and we see a lot of great ideas rolling in. So uh, I don't know, maybe we'll see ships and shipyards at some point. But clearly, right now, our main objective and goal is start scaling Zverse, and we are. I'm like super happy to see every week so many people showing up. So we know what's what we have on the board, and yeah. So I think once lands are finished, later we'll come together with the refined referral system. We will have see a massive hype. Okay, so really interesting topic about play to airdrops, and we will have that for sure. We have pretty precise plan how the play to airdrop will work out, and it will shortly follow after the beta. But at the same time, like we've been in space for quite a while. We've been like in contact with pretty much every single guild questing platform, and I think the challenge nowadays for most of Web3 gaming project is to figure out how to reward community members who are like really players, really looking forward to support the project versus value extractors who are kind of in this mercenary approach, jumping from one game to another, extracting as much as they can, and then looking kind of for the next target. And I think if we are able to identify and somehow distinguish these groups of players, we can find a great value in mercenary type of behavior as well. But I think that's really important point to address, because like we have had few launches in the past where I mean like other gaming project launches in the past where we really closely followed their strategies, their approaches, and like as the time went went by, we've seen like how these strategies play out in like mid and long term for like a sake of project health. And yeah, so that's tricky thing. So that's why I'm like putting more and more focus on like real gamers which not necessarily even know what crypto is in the first place. Because like I wrote like a post on the general chat. Maybe Jackal, there's a way how we can like link that post this
Yeah.
chat so people maybe can have something for reference. Uh, that the gaming industry alone is bigger than all of like crypto exchanges in terms of revenue combined, and it's like a and that's something what signals that players are still willing pay for the experiences they get if the game is good. And actually that industry has been growing for last 15 years, and it just keeps accelerating. So we will be looking to tap into that market, and I think us being able to find a really good mix between seasoned like I will relate to the Zevers players also as an investors uh, when we are looking to like normal regular gamers who have like no prior experience with crypto at all. So having a good mix between that means we can have a really healthy economy and something what's also sustainable in a bit of like a longer run, because um, at the end of the day, it's like a zero sum game. It's there is no way where uh, number just keeps going up and everybody keeps cashing out and number keeps going up. So we need a large group of players which will be loving game because they love the game, not because they have like financial motive as their primary incentive. And the good thing is we have had lots of experience in the past acquiring those players. So for one of our titles, we've acquired through user acquisition campaigns. We've spent around $5 million, and we managed to acquire roughly 2 million players. So we know how these funnels work, and we know how these groups work. And what we saw was that there were players who spent like $20,000-$30,000 for like in-game gems without, and that's like without any chance to cash it out, or it's just for pure fun, for pure enjoyment. And like in industry, same as here, they're considered to be whales. So yeah, and we will be looking into that direction, because I think when we kickstart user acquisition on like normal players, what we will see is enormous benefits we're bringing into existing community. And I think, like as we have stated before many times, whenever we look on any decision we make, we look, okay, we have this core group of people which are labeled as mass holders and land holders. So we see this group as a core community members, and we are always like looking for ways how to bring value to this group primarily, and then we expand from there. So if the question is for us, what should be the strategy for scaling game, and yeah, so then we always look, okay, what will bring more value to this centerpiece of group. And I think if we find people who genuinely enjoy Zverse and play Zverse for sake of Zverse, I think that brings way more value than if we just purely focus on attracting like airdrop farmers who rotate games. But yeah, that being said, our play to airdrop campaign will be a bit more different than you've seen in other Web3 games. And it will really focus on genuinely playing game, not just grinding,
Euler,
yeah.
I'm gonna squeeze in a quick question. There's a very eager user trying to know about the Zverse Mini and how that plays into the Play to Airdrop and ultimately Zev Airdrop. So could you also talk about that in the process?
Okay, right, perfect. Yeah, I've seen this question popping up quite a few times. So first, I would like to just like put Zverse Mini in a category where we see this as a companion app for Zverse main game. It doesn't mean it's okay. I'll try to rephrase it. So we see this as a really casual platform which we can use to activate certain group of people, and we will keep using Zverse Mini as a marketing tool, and that means we will be adding a bit different game modes to that game, and Zverse Mini will be and is part of Play to Airdrop campaign. So the seeds you have collected so far, obviously they count, and there will be more activations in Zverse Mini side as well, and this will be streamlined together with like main Play to Airdrop campaign. So yeah, that's probably a way to put it. Yeah. So, and plus I I really enjoy Zebras Mini as well. I had so many rage moments with that game. It's just a pure me versus game experience where this thing is just testing my limits as well. And I remember like when we were um, testing the game for first time, like fuck, so many rage quits from the developers trying to beat their own scores. And honestly, we had so much fun playing the game itself. So we will definitely keep it around, and it's a part of the whole thing. So yeah. So
So there was one question, and I'm not sure what's the proper way to uh, answer how to reply. But what missing part do we need? What are we missing before the beta? Asked by Guangguan.
uh,
Uh,
nothing,
Nothing, right?
nothing. We are missing nothing.
That
And that's
that's a
the
good
beauty
way to
about
put
the
it, actually.
silence we've been like bringing in on this community. Because I know whenever, like, since last 2 weeks, I know this question pops up, and we know, fuck, we can't say too much just because we need nothing. And so yeah, it's it's still a little bit of work left, but very 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 soon you'll see something show up in
Yeah.
Zebras, and that will. Okay, I'll not. I won't say more. So
So, and regarding about the list for the uh, list about the land we would uh, you know have rolled out first for community members, partners, and stuff like that. What we talked about and the list we put out. Can you talk more about that in regards to the timelines? When could that be taking place? And yeah.
uh, okay, yeah, that's coming mm, right after the beta, and it's like not coming after the beta. It's like, so with the beta we pretty much established this new platform, and then we are putting in lands, because one of the biggest roadblocks for land release was that all of these lands, they contain a pretty wide variety of different resources. The problem is we didn't and still don't have these skills in place. So the skills will be solved together with the beta. So we're introducing 4 new skills, and with that we remove the biggest like roadblock for the land. What I can say is we already have most of the community marketplace systems ready. So because, like, okay, we release the land, now players can join the land, now they can like play on the land, but it still needs like backbone for economy. And we have had most of the stuff already in place for community token marketplace, and like that's a whole topic on its own, because I think um, this will be really crucial cornerstone for the way we manage the player bases together with landholders, and the way we generate uh, like real yield for landholders. And by real yield, I mean um, it it's like literally you're generating ETH whenever somebody joins your land or even leaves your land. So yeah, and I think having this mechanism in place will be like a blood for supporting the landowners. And the reason why we had that list previously was because we are we understand the importance of the land, and and the way landholders will shape. Uh, let me think for a way to put it. How landholders will shape. Uh, they're like kind of like a scholarships in a way, because players who join your land, you somewhat become a uh, way for them to learn about the game, and yeah, and we wanted to make sure that you have like incentives aligned, because if you are like recruiting for players who play on your land, or you're just like passively opening your land for players to come in, there should be incentives aligned, which rewards you if you work more actively with the players playing on your land. So um, yeah, I guess we can find a time for this topic and just dig deep, and I could even prepare some schematics and designs, so we can really look into where the yield comes from, how the mechanic works, what do we get out of like TVL when people are buying or selling community tokens, and yeah, so that's really interesting topic, and I guess we can find time really to dig deeper into that. So yeah, Jagal, is that
I'm
enough?
uh, I'm I'm also potentially hosting a uh, uh, something. I'm cooking up something in the chat with the community. So I suggested that landowners should be able to close the portal to their land, trapping all shamans inside. Uh, and uh, good for the landowner, I guess.
Uh,
But
yeah, I mean, you can close your doors, but I don't think that should mean people are trapped inside. However,
maybe you're the one that's trapped with them.
yeah, and then it's kind of you need to pay to get out. I mean, not very nice, but what I've learned from my experience is that in free-to-play games, people pay when they absolutely must. So if that's how you want to monetize your land, I mean, okay, but uh, I just can't imagine uh, the feedback from that. Let's put it that way.
uh, I think if I remember it certainly correct, there was once that I don't think you could exit from the party island super early on. But I mean, it worked out afterward. But initially, the portal didn't work and kind of gave that vibe. And yeah, so YR just asked a question, and then it grew into a suggestion. But I really like the concept of tribal storage, where players could uh, tribal members could share consumables, and I actually think that's insanely cool, and potentially would given that items are on chain, and I mean would be in the future. Currently, we have. I mean, everybody knows, but I do like the concept of being able to like share some day to day stuff with your tribe members, and I think it also like you know fosters a more um
Oh yeah, for
like a
sure.
community
I
feeling.
think
Yeah.
it should follow kind of idea of building like tribe war chest, and yeah, so I think that also could become a way for landholder to I wouldn't say monetize the land, but certainly a way to collect donations, which then can be used for development of the tribe. So yeah, I mean there is always option for landholders to put out their public wallet and ask for donations, but I think we would get some value from having such a system inside the game.
Actually, you use this space to also to propose things to community, and I did want to bring something forward. I touched upon the last community call, but I actually do want to hear feedback from you guys. What would you think about it? Because got me thinking. So with the release of woodcutting, you can chop all the trees with the same axe. And currently, we don't have many axes, but better axes speed up the process of cutting the trees, right? So for me, like I look at it and it just feels so natural. And what like and especially I care about what people with legendary rods think about it. What do you think about this concept also being applied to fishing? And yeah, obviously, the higher you're fishing and the better your rod, because I think also opinions from both sides matter. Obviously, those with common rods benefit more from it, but those with legendary rods benefit less. But what do you feel? How do you feel about it? That you could, for example, with common rod, catch legendary fish, but I mean, it would be so. I mean, like let's say 1 to 50, 1 to 100, right? Legendary fish, but just the concept of being able to. Uh, how do you feel about that, guys? And Euler, how do you feel about it?
I mean, we will certainly look into this no matter what, because as we introduce more content, and that's actually something I really want to uh, speak about today. Uh, but yeah, certainly we will be looking for ways to make it make content more accessible to players. But meanwhile, we have to respect the existing holders. So we'll have to find a win-win situation for that. And I think there is like many ways to do that. I just like read question from Arnold. If the land is productive only for tribes, only some will be productive. The player who has the land must benefit even without having a tribe. So yeah, that's actually the interesting thing about the land design and the way lands versus tribes work. So in order to play on the land, you don't necessarily have to be on the tribe, but in order to define the tribe, we have to kind of go a bit deeper into options for tribe setup. So landholder can just like launch their land along with community token, which is required to enter the land. And anyone who purchases the community token is able to enter the land and play on the land if landholder has set the rules which says open to all community token holders. Then there is like a next layer where landholders can create their own tribes, and this gives them some tool, like some mechanism to vet which players should be able to enter the land if they have community tokens. So this is kind of a way for you to make your land more private, just for your tribe members. and then kind of vice versa, you can also always ask your tribe members to fill certain criteria to be accepted inside the tribe. So that being said, only if you have only if you have land without tribe, you can easily launch it. There is a community token out there. The land by default has value for the players just because it has resources on top of it. So it doesn't necessarily need the social construct in order to capture any value. However, having the social construct definitely increases the value you can get out of your land plot. So yeah, I hope that gives sheds some light.
But I mean, just to like clearly like also like draw a line. I'll like, if talking game resource wise for an individual player, then owning a land or having a land or visiting maybe a more dormant land that doesn't have a tribe, and maybe just splitting it with their owner, resource wise it's incredibly beneficial to have a personal land. And maybe even so, if you decide to perhaps uh, not share with anybody. And that's the thing, because obviously the tribesmen will come together and strategize amongst their resources. And yeah, but perhaps uh, I mean, perhaps your resources uh, will
Yeah,
be
I
the
mean,
ones that people will want to get a hold of, and you will be either invited to the tribes or people will want to join. So there's like, it's good to be in a tribe, but it does not necessarily impact how beneficial land is to single player, somebody tribeless, if that makes sense.
yeah, it totally makes sense because it's like owning a tribe, owning a land is like owning a factory which could produce something. So if you don't want to share with the rest of economy and just keep all that resource to yourself, that's fine. You close it. You miss out maybe a bit of fee revenue you can generate from people buying and selling the token. Uh, if you like, because like I think people won't be willing to buy the token if you don't just let them in, despite the fact they have the token. But yeah, that being said, having these lands give you a piece of economy, and you can choose to open it up for the public, collect the fees, or just keep these resources completely to yourself. And you can farm on those land plots, and maybe a bit lonely experience, but I mean, resource wise, that could be a strategy.
Uh, just to quickly squeeze in a community question, the odds between level 5 Umbra 5 and Umbra 50 for getting a legendary drop, they differ like 5 times, right? Something like that. So Umbra 50 has 5 times the odds that Umbra 5 has. But I think Nyx got stuff from Umbra 5. And yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Did you manage to find that? Oh, you probably pointed already out the general chat, right? Oh yeah, I see. Yeah. Anyways, I really wanted to touch this subject because it's it's important that we know where we are in terms of content and in terms of development, and how that reflects on utility, and yeah, how that reflects on utility and demand for the assets, and how that could change in the future. One second, sorry. Jael, can you answer maybe one or two questions? Just have
Easy.
everywhere it's ringing from my WhatsApp, so I need
Yeah,
to
no
turn
worries.
it off.
I got you. So Collins asked about the new items in Discord shop, and this is something I've brought forward to Euler a bit before, and I think we've settled on I'll just sketch it out for you guys. So what I initially felt like, uh, obviously corn pods are going out of rotation, and obviously there are no Genesis pods, as those are also out of the Discord shop. And I was thinking, right, voxels are rewarded through your social activity here in Discord, right? So what I felt most fitting would be something that would uh, be social, and this is just a work in progress concept, because beta lands, uh, not sure where exactly this will squeeze in, but uh, let's just call them like social loot pods that would include NFTs with in-game uh, stickers, emotes, uh, and yeah, going also through rarities. Imagine you like some crazy sticker, just to prove your status. And what I thought is a cool way to approach it through is they would only be available through the Discord store. So the pod value and the content value is purely dictated through users' activity, instead of, for example, like Cornwood is 10,000 V, right? So there's something it's like attached to. However, this would be attached to purely through Discord. And yeah, how we feeling about it? Cool, no?
Okay.
Like a Pepedrox sticker. Oh, actually, I don't think it was through a community call. Maybe it was, or maybe it was through a drop party. Uh, Pedrox has when Pepedrox sticker in game.
I think we had a
The
deal
sticker.
with him.
Yeah, I just remembered about it. And Euler said once Pepedrox reaches, what was it? Let me find it real quick.
You have to scroll back, but I think it was uh 10V price. I think we agreed on
Yeah,
10V per Pepedrox token. So once it reaches, then we will add a utility, which in practice would mean you would be able to use Pepedrox token to acquire a sticker and like emote,
two stickers.
two stickers, and that also puts Pepedrox into like deflationary state. So uh, moon that. Anyways, where I started was how the current like development and the content affects the utility and like future utility and demand for different assets. And the main two assets which we are talking about when it comes to game economy is disease and the V token. So the easiest way to put it is that Z is your key to unlock a new content. And by new content, I mean not necessarily just being able to beat level 50 on Umbra, or win somebody else on a Forge, which is like more like competitive angle, but literally being able to enjoy content what requires higher level Zs. So one way to put this would be, okay, we are releasing a co-op mode where 3 players can team up, but even the easiest level is so difficult that you need, let's say, like level 50 Z team just to be even able to have a chance at it. And that automatically means you get whole new stuff to do with whole new rewards if you have high level Zs. And this pattern is something what's usually used in game development, and this is pattern which we will follow. And as we add more content, high-end content, which also could be like some quests where you need to slay some big boss, and this could also be some really strong world Z's where you need to just which you want to kill for good rewards, and that kind of puts Z in equation where higher level Z unlocks better content, unlocks better rewards. And the thing we have right now is every piece of content also have these like levels where you can start relatively low, and it still offers some challenge for higher level Zs, but that isn't necessarily the key design, because it just kind of gives more replayability to the same thing. So that being said, because we have been in alpha for this whole time, we've never really focused on adding more content, because first of all, it's we need to first build systems so we can add more fun stuff later. Second of all, this have been correlated pretty strongly with demand, the market prices for disease, because there is just no real utility once you reach like anything above like level 30, level 40. Like literally there is nothing, like there is nothing new what really unlocks after that point, besides just being able to clear higher level dungeon. And this is about to change, and we will be adding and serving all these brackets above like level 30 one by one. So we'll soon start to see a content which can be accessed only with like level 50s, level 60s. Then we may find them ourselves even looking at a content which goes as high as like level 80 and level 90. And that means if you have like something which requires you to have a team of level 90s, that reward also holds a value because it can only be accessed by few strong players. Which then, on the other hand, is something what drives value uh, and demand for these assets, because now there is something what you can get out of it, which you otherwise can't. That being said, having this demand can translate into two different things. First thing is the market price of disease themselves. We see, and that's actually something we've seen with some of new content we released in the past as well. And also that's what we saw pretty good with the Harvester. But yeah, putting that aside, it reflects on the price of these assets, because for first time there is actually need for that. But on the other hand, it goes into V token subject, because V token generally is a currency which could draw parallels with uh, uh, premium / hard currency, what we could find and see in free-to-play games. And usually in these free-to-play games, this currency is sold by the company which runs the game, and then they kind of also try to do different interesting practices to make sure you really want to buy them. But anyways, putting that aside, the difference is that our players own the hard currency, and the purpose of gems and hard currency in these games is to speed up your progress. And usually when there is either like a new content or some new events, players want to access it faster, so they either end up buying those gems using their credit cards, or actually there is no other way. So yeah, you end up paying with your credit card, and and uh, and uh, and this gives you ability to just like buy your progress. For us, we don't want to create something out of nothing. So if players want to access this progress real fast, they are required to buy V token, but they're buying the token from the V token holders, not from the company directly. So this is how new content benefits V token holders, and this is also how V token, new content benefits Z holders. And if you want to train your Z to, like, let's say level 90 to access this piece of content, you can always go the easy way, which is playing game every day. It takes a while, I know, but it's intended, because if it would be easy, then it would be cheap. And the other way is you're using your V token to buy energy potions, so you can keep playing every day for thousands or hundreds of battles, and then using the token to speed up the upgrade process. And this generally just generates a lot of demand for both of these two assets. So our plan and approach here is, with the beta, we are adding more content, which will require you to have really high level Zs, good equipment. And then on the other hand, we are starting our UA campaigns, which will then be combined with the Play Trade campaign, which results in influx of new players, which don't have any kind of assets at all. So they will either want to play and enjoy games themselves and go through the whole level up process, which means they will need the V token, or they will want to speed up their progress even faster by just going and buying these Zs from the market. And the way we want to make this process more streamlined, and also really important fact, we need to be App Store compliant with App Store policies. Means we will be selling off-chain currency with the credit cards, and we will be using that revenue to buy back the token from the market. So we don't end up like messing up with the rules. And at the same time, it's super easy for players to purchase the currency, because they have already have their credit cards attached to their phones, and there is like more than 1 billion, 1.5 billion accounts on Apple and Google Play Store who have their credit cards attached. So that's a really easy way to streamline the first purchases, and also those players will sooner or later realize that it's not enough just to have like strong Z's. They also need the good equipment. They also want to train variety of different skills. And this is where Game Exchange, GEX, comes in. And everything in a GEX is being sold or bought with the V token. And for lots of these new users, buying the V token with a credit card will be only way to access this before they're ready to jump into the realm of crypto. So we see this as a really nice and smooth way to onboard normies. And as they get more and more comfy with this, we think some of these people will learn that there is another way to obtain the crypto. There is more assets than that. And they will learn this through the Discord, through the community, where obviously they will join because they want to learn more about the game. And in this way, they also discover the core assets of Zverse, such as land and masks, and also governance token later on. So with this, we are essentially creating this top-down funnel, which is really streamlined with game design itself. And yeah, and this, most importantly, is something what is scalable. And as we scale, it's a clear path to value accrual for the core of the community, because it's like a top-down funnel. You start by downloading game, you end up by buying 10 masks, and everything in between is really a step-by-step process, from credit card to first V token, first exchange on GEX, and yeah, we're joining the lands. Also, one interesting thing we have thought about, based on some questions for some extra utility for disease. I like the idea that there could be a burn mechanism to also deal, on the other hand, with inflation. But besides that, not just burning the utility, we could give it another utility which would allow people, like a regular people without wallets, without any knowledge, to rent those Z's by using off-chain V token as a currency for that. And I think this could make sense the moment we make withdrawal windows shorter. So yeah. And on the other hand, regarding the Z's being burned, I don't see a world where we burn Z's and we return the V token, because that would have that spiral effect on economy. But what we see though is they could be turned into something else, some other else token, like some different token, which then can be used for a certain purpose, such as maybe upgrading your Z traits, or maybe purchasing some items from like special store or something. So yeah.
So actually, on this note, I do want to taking into account all of the questions asked by people. I kind of want to interview here for a little bit. So I'm probably not going to find it because it was asked quite earlier. But regarding the new user experience and being maskless, and for example, especially coming from like Web 2 environment. would in beta would you be able to train your Z's faster? And yeah, because Umbra sped it up real nice. But then again, that's Soul Shard exclusive.
Yeah. So I think eventually we will end up there. But at least for beginning, we need to get like a really good baseline. And I get the idea that everybody wants to progress faster, but the good thing is it's not only about leveling up your Z's, it's also about leveling up your skills. So we actually get a quite a nice mix of different progression speeds across different like verticals. So I think I think we will end up there. That's usually where every game ends up. It's just introducing new methods for training faster, being faster, but it also introduces something. There's a term called power creep in strategy games, which basically says if you are speeding up the progress, you should be also increasing the power for the top end. And that kind of creates a spiral where you keep increasing the speed of the progress and you keep increasing the power. And this comes as inflation for your asset value. Because if you spend 6 months leveling up your Z to level 50, and now it takes just 1 week, I'm not sure how good existing players will feel about that. So it's something which needs to be treated quite carefully.
And here I kind of nobody has asked this. It's just me. So we're all the time talking about 1 to 50, 1 to 50, and that taking too long and stuff like that. And free to play users' experience is actually halted at the evolution, which also comes as a commitment to Zverse. And here, I would just wanted to hear your take on this, community's take on this. But given the amount of level 50Zs in the market and some utilization, how do you look at in the future for perhaps to Soul Shard owners having to do a tedious long quest line for one one free evolution that you would be able to, I mean, if you want to get 9 eggs or no 3 more eggs at the same time, type hatch 3 more Z's, train them out to 50, and do all of the necessary quest lines. But now just symbolically you can get your one and only free, free as in if you just didn't go through like training 4Zs to level 50,
It's
free evolution. And
yeah, I
what's
get the
your take
question.
on this? Because I know you have like uh, very careful and adamant views on evolution and good philosophy behind it. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not generally. I think the question is not generally about evolution. It's about reward design and like what you're saying, free evolution. So by free evolution, you mean not being forced to pay
So for
tokens.
me, it just objectively speaking, 1 to 50 is like what 1/6 of the total Z available experience, and then players are so that means free to play players are kind of gated up towards that. That is free to play players, right? So yeah, it just
Yeah, I mean,
extending
it's
the.
kind of like it's it's just like reward design. It's not really about having these being like a really specific case here. It's it's what's our approach with the reward design. So the thing is, we can always keep adding more rewards until we can't anymore, because at some point they just kind of the same power creep uh, thing applies to the reward design as well. I mean, if we want to build and reward some holders with some free evolution, I mean, we can always build a quest around that. And I mean, I think it could even make sense. Uh, so I'm not necessarily saying no, but it's just like uh, reward is never solution from the game design standpoint. Reward is an incentive which people develop tolerance really quick upon, and and we just have to be careful with that, because we are also dealing with people who went through all this process before, and usually uh, the equation for this is, if we give this reward, what value it brings. And if it brings more value than it costs, then I think that's a really good uh, thing to do. If it doesn't, then we have to be cautious about this. And yeah. Uh,
I actually I've never I don't think I've heard this before, but I love uh the the bit about people building tolerance for rewards, and because I mean I was just thinking about it from like my user experience, like getting those like first Umbra drops, it's like crazy, so good, and then it's like you kind of get adjusted to it, and then it's like another one,
yeah, and there is a
another one
reason why it feels
when
good.
new items.
Exactly. It's just like a tolerance we build upon everything. It's not just related to gaming. It's related to, like, first try you try like coffee. It feels way different than when every day you're drinking 5 cups of coffee for like a year. For sure, that's whole different experience. So yeah, I see like a question about Apple App Store and Play Market. So the thing is, it's not that we can't mention crypto, it's that we can't first, we can't sell cryptocurrencies directly. So this is why we have off-chain version of the V token, and we may even like rename it for sake of simplicity for normal players, so they can just go in, they see, okay, we have like these coins, I can spend $10 to purchase 100 coins, which turns out to be actually 100 V token. And then there is like withdrawal process later on, which is compliant with the policy. And because you can withdraw these tokens, you can also exchange those tokens back. And yeah, so the main thing Apple and Google cares about is that we don't end up like cutting them out of their own share, and this is something we have to respect. And yeah, and we don't see like uh, we basically see this as a great way to onboard people into the game by following App Store policies, and we actually want to follow that rather than try to go around them and somehow kind of, yeah, find some workarounds, because having that experience, like it's like what we have to understand is there is like millions, like hundreds of millions of players who have made these purchases in the past. They are already familiar with the process, and we want to have this process for them. and when we do, it comes with a certain risks. There's like credit card fraud, there is like some possible refunds, and that's another reason why we don't want to give them like actual crypto, why we want to give them coins. So lots of these coins will actually be spent inside a game rather than being burned. Fun fact, like some statistic I can actually share is that currently there is up to this date there is 251 million V token deposits inside the game and only 187 million withdrawals to date. So so yeah, that actually shows a strong signal that uh, Zverse actually has more utility for token, for people keeping it inside than just withdrawing it out. And yeah, having this experience for the users means most likely they will spend those coins uh, rather than withdrawing them and just selling on marketplace, because like why would you purchase V tokens with a credit card and then go and sell it to the DEX? It doesn't really make sense. However, some people will use it, and hopefully a lot of people will use it to purchase different items in game exchange, in GEX, and this is another topic because um, GEX primarily is for people to obtain these items, but at the same time, sooner or later, people and players will be exposed to the beauty of price go up, price go down experience. And I think the GEX could become their first trading experience overall. So yeah.
Could you also take a second to address the worries of community members regarding the other games closing now due to the market conditions and something?
I
You can
mean,
see the
market conditions
copyright
are,
message into that.
yeah, I see. Yeah, market conditions obviously are pretty dire for gaming right now, and but doesn't really come as much a surprise today because it has been going down only for like 9 or 12 months. I think uh, I really hope and think that the utility season starts soon, so we can get a really nice help. But on other hand, that being said, V token has actually been holding really well. In terms of dollar value, obviously it has been falling, but in terms of 1V versus 1 Magic, the price is actually close to all-time high. Just check the chart, and that means we lose some value because the market is falling. But yeah, and getting to your question, and I saw previously there was about like fundraising and that. So in terms of fundraising, today is not the seller's market, it's the buyer's market. And for us, we would raise if we would absolutely need to do, but that certainly gives us, and every like Web3 gaming project gives us big disadvantage in terms of valuations and like yeah, in general terms. So we are like not actively looking to raise another round right now. Um, yeah, so I hope that helps. I think for many other games, it's like I don't want to like point fingers or do anything, but I think uh, some teams with a bit less experience sometimes don't really know how much time it takes to build something from prototype to publishable game, and then we see these like situations. Also, I think lots of these teams uh, didn't really had a game. They had like some nice renders, some videos, some stuff like that, and they got some hype, and that's it. And then they're saying, okay, we're not like doing anything anymore. So yeah, obviously it's something what we see and follow, and we want to act accordingly. But then on the other hand, I think these conditions is for sure best time to build, because when inevitably next wave starts, uh, we will be in a really good position on that, and we don't want to play like catch-up game. So yeah, it's all about like positioning ourselves, and we have worked on this for 3 years, and we plan to time our releases like carefully. So yeah, I hope that answered the question, but we don't really plan to actively fundraise now, just because it's not it's not like fundraising market, and we want to fundraise when everything is super hot. Right now, what we want to do is build and make sure we have really good competitive advantage when the market turns.
And instead of closing, we're kind of doing the extreme opposite of we're opening, going into beta, and how the world will change and grow so much more larger. All right. So the raffles will stay the same. I'm like I'm with you guys every day here. I know majority of you, and those who I don't know, I check it.
Last thing before we close, really wanted to address. Also, there is finally like a utility coming for taming, and the taming will be kind of like this low key, like low key roadblock for you to purchase level 99 Zs and go right ahead inside the game. Also, taming will be a requirement for you to wear certain armor pieces. However, that being said, it won't be anything extreme. So I think almost all of existing players won't find any restrictions on equipment nor Z's they currently hold. But that means uh, we give some value to account itself, and especially as we go with the like third evolution later on, this helps to prevent accounts just shifting Z's from one account to another, and like doing some bad stuff. I mean, so yeah, it will certainly be a bit of uh, a bit of like a block for certain pieces of content. So yeah, but nothing crazy, nothing to worry about, and yeah, that. Also, besides taming becoming a requirement to equip certain pieces of armor or Z's, taming will also bring you benefits inside a battle, because you as a like Z trainer shaman, you need to have some impact on the battle as well, and you will find that taming will higher level taming will make your Z's a bit stronger. So yeah, so there will be advantage for high level taming as well. So okay, I guess let's wrap it up. It's been a bit over than 1 hour. As always, happy to see so many people joining. Great questions. I think we touched interesting subjects today, and happy to keep the discussion going on in like a general chat or mass chat. And yeah, guys, thanks for coming. And all I can say is next week is going to be quite interesting. So yeah, I'll end on this note.
All right. Thank you, guys. So I've taken a screenshot at I think around 4. I mean, like around 20 minutes ago. I took a screenshot, and once again, I do filter through everybody I don't know and check their involvement into our Discord. And yeah, after that, I'll hop into Campfire Chant, and we'll raffle out one Genesis mask to a lucky participant. So yeah, actually, on this note, somebody did mention me touching grass. I will not see you, I think, next week for community call, but I think it's gonna be Euler and Cherry. So, all right.
Yeah, you need to touch grass. Okay, okay, guys. Thanks a lot. See you soon, and see you also on next week's community call. Stay tuned. Something happening next week, so that's it. Cheers.
All right. Bye.